Here's everything my husband eats in a day / what I cook for him. I love cooking for the people I care about. It's not something that's expected of me or something that I need to do. I just love doing it. So for breakfast today, I made some pancakes. Lucky usually prefers savory breakfast, so when he does request sweet breakfast, I get so excited. So I made some fluffy pancakes, and a lot of you know, if you've been around for a while, that I'm not the best at making pancakes, but I'm getting better and better. So I made those, topped them with some homemade buttermilk syrup, some powdered sugar, and some berries. Lucky had 3 plates of this, and then I decided to make him some tea. Today we switched it up. It was peppermint tea with lemon and honey. And then lunchtime rolled around and I decided to make another sheet pan dish, but today I decided to make a harissa chicken one. So I sliced up some normal potatoes, sweet potatoes, and then marinated my chicken in some harissa, seared it off, and then pulled my potatoes out the oven, put chicken, chickpeas, some broccoli, and onions back on the sheet pan, popped it back in the oven. Meantime, I made this cilantro tahini dressing to go over it, and I plated it all up. This was actually so good, especially with the charred lemon and the tahini dressing. Lucky enjoyed it so much that he ended up having half of that sheet pan. So I would say that's a successful meal. And then for dinner, I was in a fall mood today, so I decided to make some sage chicken meatballs with some pumpkin risotto. So I soaked some sourdough bread, cut up some shallots and some herbs, sauteed those in butter. And I put my chicken, bread, the herbs, salt and pepper, some parm in a bowl and formed those into tiny meatballs. Actually weren't that tiny. And then put them in the oven. In the meantime, I made my risotto. I can do a full recipe on this if you guys want to, but this is a meal that you constantly have to stand by and watch because you have to ladle the stock into the rice every time it evaporates. And I topped it with some parsley, goat cheese, and the meatballs, and I obviously had to try and see how good it was, and it was really good. I make fresh butter at least once a week, so let's make some roasted garlic and parsley butter today. I start by roasting my bulb of garlic in the oven and then pour some heavy cream into my KitchenAid. I whisk it on a low to medium speed at first while I chop up my parsley. I give it a good chop and make sure that it's small enough to incorporate into the butter. Once my heavy cream reaches this stage, I turn up the speed to a medium-high speed and just let it go until the buttermilk separates. Once that happens, I turn my mixer off and my butter is pretty much done. You can use a strainer or your hands to just get all that buttermilk out. Just make sure you get as much of it out as possible. A lot of the times I ask Lucky to come help me with this since I'm not that strong. Once all the buttermilk is pressed out, I transfer my butter over to a plate, sprinkle it with some parsley, my roasted garlic, some flaky sea salt, and make sure that it's all incorporated before I transfer it over to the fridge and some wax paper to store.